be a visitor as well, so please make that note. So, Alicia, I'm gonna let you, I think,
Is it 10 o'clock?
it's, yeah, 1 minute after.
Oh. So welcome, everybody. It's great to see a full room. We do let people coming in. We might be bringing in some extra chairs here. So my name's Alicia Craftsville, and I'm with the Nebraska Real Estate Specialty Group, and I am the founder of the Nebraska Savvy Seniors Empowerment Seminars. And this is, I think, our 18th or 19th seminar that we're holding today. And we just welcome you all here to St. Mark's. It's a beautiful building, and we're excited to be here. And just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. The bathroom is right down here. That's the bathroom that we're to use here today. So it's just right out this door if you need to. We have coffee and cookies out here. If you don't have your coffee and cookie yet, make sure that you get some. And who's the first time comer to Savvy Seniors? Raise your hand. Great, a lot of new people. So just so that you know, this is not a sales event. No one is here to sell you anything. This is not a networking event. People aren't going to be sitting next to you passing out their business cards. And so this is a place where you can come, you can get the facts, and you can get the truth about different things that are important in your lives. And we just welcome you to here. And we do have our educational partners. And our educational partners are out in the foyer. And what they do is they help us and they help sponsor us and help us put on these events. And these are people that have been vetted by us. We know that they're honest, they're reputable people to work with, and they'll do what they say they're going to do at a price that you've already agreed upon if they do it. And so when you're thinking about some of these services out here, we'd appreciate it if you use some of our educational partners for that. That would be wonderful. And they're also a source of information for you too. As we're into education, they are going to be a source of information. You can call them at any time if you need help with something. So make sure you check out their tables, and some of them have some goodies out there. Halfway through the seminar, we will take a bathroom break, and you can refresh your coffee or whatever. And then we will have some evaluations for you to fill out. We don't ask, our seminars are always free, but we do ask that you fill out the evaluation and fill it out completely. That way it helps us know what kind of topics you want, if you've been here before, and the things that are concerned to you. So make sure you fill out that completely. And for the ones that are completely filled out, your name will go into a drawing for some gift baskets that we're giving away later today. And how many of you brought a friend that has never been here before? Okay, so we'll be going around with a goodie basket in a little bit, and we will give you a gift for that. So, we have an event coming up, and I thought I had a flyer for that. Art, can I borrow your flyer? Okay. How many of you guys like to have fun? Okay, well, we are going to have fun on June 6th. We have rented the Firefighters Hall, and we are going to have Lincoln's Senior Prom. And it's not going to be like your kids' prom. You don't have to bring a date. You don't have to dress up, but you can if you want to. But it's just going to be a whole night of fun. Tickets are going on sale now. You can buy them online. There's a QR code on here. Or if you want to save the $2 or $3 processing, you can buy them here. But we don't take credit cards. It would be cash or a check. And on June 6th, it's going to be social hour from 5:30 to 6:30. We're going to have a magician at that time going around and doing magic tricks. And then from 6:30 to 7, we're going to have a catered meal. And then at 7 o'clock, who knows Bill Crasteel and has seen one of his shows before? We're going to have him entertain for the rest of the evening. So it's just going to be a whole lot of fun. The Alzheimer's Association is going to have a photo booth. We have a lot more surprises up our sleeve. So make sure you come and bring a friend. It really will be a lot of fun. And there's only 250 tickets for sale. So you want to get yours early. Thank you. And there's flyers out there on the table for that. So how many of you have been a victim of a scam or somebody's tried to scam you before? It happens almost every day. Someone's calling you, aren't they? So today what we're going to do is we're going to find out what are these tricks that they're playing on us, how do they get our attention, and how do we fall for that? I've almost fallen for them. And we have a couple of very distinguished guests with us here today. And I want you to welcome both of them. The first one we have is Ryan Sothen. He's the Outreach Coordinator for the Nebraska Attorney General's Office. He's got over 13 years of experience, and he's a leading advocate for consumer protection. He specializes in educating Nebraskans about fraud, elder financial abuse, identity theft, and predatory business practices. He travels extensively in covering all 93 counties in Nebraska, reaching over 25,000 Nebraskans annually through presentations, expos, community events, and includes the Nebraska State Fair and Husker Harvest Days. His mission is clear. He's to ensure that seniors and consumers feel safe, secure, and well-informed about the risks they face in today's world. Ryan holds a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and when he's not working tirelessly to protect the Nebraskans, he's refining what he calls the art of the high handicap golfer. Isn't that right? Okay, so Ryan, give him a big hand and he can come up here. Yeah, sorry about the nameplate, we kind of fell down there. Go ahead and take a seat. Yes. Okay, so next, we have a couple superstars in our panel today, so we are really excited to have them. We have Josh Planos. Josh is the Vice President of Marketing and Communications and Public Relations for the Better Business Bureau. He plays a key role in consumer protection, scam prevention, and public awareness efforts. He also serves as the spokesperson for the International Association of Better Business Bureaus International Investigative Initiatives. And beyond his work in the Better Business Bureau, Josh is an internationally recognized journalist and sports writer. His writing has been featured in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, The Atlantic, GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly, Sports Illustrated, and many other prestigious publications. His expertise has been cited by law journals around the world, including the Harvard Journal of Sports and Entertainment Law and California Western International Law Journal. Josh has appeared on Good Morning America, NPR's All Things Considered, and ESPN Radio, and he was a longtime contributor to CNN in the Philippines. He served as a featured spokesperson at TEDx at UNO, participated in the FBI Citizens Academy, and was recognized in the Midlands Business Journal 40s Under 40 class. His extensive experience in media, digital strategy, crisis communication, and consumer advocacy makes him a very sought-after speaker for conferences, businesses, and universities worldwide. So both of these remarkable professionals are here with us today to provide some insightful, engaging discussions. So please give Josh a big hand as he comes up. Okay, so we're just going to begin with some questions that I have for these guys. These guys have a lot of information, and they might just take away the whole thing here. But I do have some questions that we want to kind of get started with. And did I get everything right about you, Ryan?
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
No?
Okay. How about you, Josh? Oh,
Nope.
where are your microphones?
I've got one. We
Okay.
can share.
Yeah, you can just take it off.
Can I be heard?
Close to your mouth.
Hello?
Yeah, just make sure you hold it
All right.
right in front.
I'll pass it to,
Okay.
I might hold it for the hour, but.
Can you hear them all okay?
Am I okay? Hello? No?
We're gonna turn them up. That's
All right. I can yell. I can project. Happy to do so, but this is not working.
Okay, there we go.
I have to eat the microphone. All right, we'll do it. Very good.
All right, so Ryan, could you just start off today by sharing some of the most common scams that are affecting Nebraskans today?
Happy to. We are just off of, in March, Consumer Protection Week, where we have shared our data up to the Federal Trade Commission. They have sliced it, diced it, julienne fried it, and sent it back down to Nebraska and the other 49 states' attorneys general to let us know what is the state of fraud and scams within our immediate area or state, peer group, and then the nation as a whole. Generally speaking, we are doing very well as Nebraskans. You do not want to be in the top 10 Unlike football, volleyball, basketball, you do not want to be in the top 10, you want to be in the bottom 10. We come in comfortably at 40th overall and 41st in identity theft. What we are seeing in terms of the frauds and scams that are impacting us, generally speaking, are twofold. First and foremost, imposter scams. These are the type of calls, text messages, and emails that you are receiving from businesses known and unknown to you, but most popularly may be calls from Amazon regarding somebody perhaps pirating your information and using a Prime account or creating a Prime account to order fraudulently goods and services. It might be a package delivery scam where you're hearing from UPS or FedEx or other about a package that has missed delivery to you personally, and they're inviting you to contact them for redelivery, but there is a convenience fee to be attached, and to please click on the link or call this number and provide your credit or debit card. Then there are fraudulent bank notices. So you're hearing from your bank about a transfer that may not have gone through due to insufficient funds or other. These are all called business opportunity scams. It's a form of imposter scams, but really was prominent in the past year. Then we have seen our number 2 scam continues to be identity theft. Number 1 nationally for the past 26 years. Number 2 here in Nebraska for the past 3 years. Most of the identity theft of late has occurred not because you've been sloppy or not paying attention in terms of protecting your personal information, but we live in the era of the data breach. I don't know how many of you have received data breach notification letters within the past year, but the largest data breach that has occurred during my time in title used to be 2017, the breach of the prominent credit reporting agency, Equifax, impacting 153 million Americans and about 2/3 of Nebraskans. It was eclipsed in the past year and given very low level attention by local and national media. That was Change Healthcare. Have any of you received a thick packet data breach notification letter from Change Healthcare in the past year?
Yes.
A couple of you have. Change Healthcare is the premier payor in our national healthcare system. Whether you're with United Healthcare or small, rural medical facility, Change is the payor that pays your doctor for the medical services that you're receiving. They were breached in late 2023 with notification going out in early 2024 and then filtering out during the course of the year. It impacted 190 million Nebraskans. And it was more than just your social security number and date of birth. It was your entire health history as well. So that is a significant breach that I would like, and I think based on the questions that presented, to cover in greater detail as how you might want to recover from such a data breach. Other than that, in terms of imposter scams and in terms of identity theft, we've been looking at other things that can be fraudulent debt collection. Some very aggressive debt collectors suggesting that you have a past due debt that you've ignored and that your failure to pay attention is going to result in serious consequence. We've had a number of complaints about problems with your bank or lender in terms of their practices and others. We've published our top 10 list on our consumer website, but what we'd really like you to be aware of is the prevalence of the imposter scams and the identity theft, how to recognize an imposter scam first and foremost, and then what to do to protect yourself against identity theft. We'll talk more about that later. I would especially enjoy the opportunity to talk about how to protect yourself post facto from a data breach.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, Josh, with your extensive writing experience, what would you say are the psychological tactics that scammers use to make their schemes effective? What are some of their tricks?
For starters, good morning, everyone. I appreciate you all being here. I know that you have to go out of your way to attend something like this, and given a lot of the information Ryan just shared, it's clear that that this is a topic of interest for not just Nebraskans, but people around the country. Frankly, it feels like drinking from a fire hose, working in consumer protection these days. I don't think that was the case 20 years ago. I don't think that was really even the case 5 years ago, but it is the case now. A lot of the tactics haven't really changed over time, and if I find comfort in anything regarding scam prevention and awareness, it's that people are hustling other people the way they did half a century ago, through things like fear tactics, through things like creating a false sense of urgency. So you need to act now, otherwise this opportunity is gonna somehow vanish. I mean, how many times have each of us heard act now, or the opportunity goes away? I've been hearing that my entire life. So scarcity effect, reciprocity. So things like we're gonna give you a free gift just if you fill out your information. Trust is really the heart of every scam that comes across our desk. The scam wouldn't work otherwise, right? If you don't believe the situation that you're presented with, you're probably not going to engage with that person. But scammers are really good at what they do, and they're really good at establishing a relationship out of thin air. And so, frankly, I think a lot of unsolicited communication creates these conversations. But the tactics really, overall, have not changed. The technology has changed, but the tactics themselves really haven't.
Okay, great. Well, Ryan, how do scammers manipulate emotions like fear and urgency to get their victims to act quickly before to maybe not think, but just act?
Scammers have numerous tactics that they like to employ.
Just hold your mic up a little bit.
All right, they have numerous tactics that they like to employ, and 4 red flags that we like to call out are, first and foremost, they attempt to intimidate you based on the role that they assume when they reach out to you, largely by phone, but increasingly by text message and by email. They love to come across as an authority figure. They enjoy coming across, especially as government or a governmental entity, be it IRS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and or the Social Security Administration. Those are popular tactics. But based on that role, or law enforcement as another popular role, they then are going to tell you a whale of a story. And that story has a compelling storyline. And that storyline typically has one of 3 tacks. It's either too good to be true, which is, congratulations, you've won. Too bad to be believed, oh, you're in trouble, your data or information has been breached. And as a result, your information, your account, your access has been suspended until we can verify your identity. Or it's too compelling to ignore, and this is the classic family emergency scam, otherwise known as the grandparent scam, where you believe that a loved one is in trouble or in peril or in need of help, and that only you can ride the charger to their salvation. So those 2 tactics get us to the third point, emotionally engaged. We are now thinking with our hearts over our heads, and there's a sense of urgency conveyed, because based on who's calling, or at least who says they're calling, the story that they're telling, we've got to do something not now, but right now, today, this instant, this phone call, to alleviate whatever the problem is. And based on that sense of urgency, what most frequently is required of us is to part with some portion of our hard-earned income, savings, retirement, store of funds, what have you. But I want you to notice that what they're manipulating you towards is not a cash transaction or a credit card transaction. They're manipulating you very specifically towards some type of exotic, my word, you might not find it exotic, payment program. One of the more popular, your kids and grandkids know well. There are what we call peer-to-peer payment systems. They have funky sounding names like Cash App and Venmo and Zelle. You want to be cool to your grandkids? With graduation season coming up, say, hey, I want to give you the funds that you need to either pay for your college or delight yourself with the graduation gift of your choosing. How about I Venmo you your graduation gift? And they'll go, Grandpa, when did you get to be so cool? Because it is a form of electronic funds transfer. It is supported by the major banks, but it does not carry FDIC, Federal Depository Insurance Corporation, backing. When you send the money, if you're sending it to a scammer, you might as well be handing them the cash or lighting the money on fire. It is very difficult to recover. So watch out for those highly specified forms of payment and the more frequently specified form of payment of late. Especially for some of these large volume scams, which can be in the 5 and low to mid 6-figure range, are such things as Bitcoin and other forms of cryptocurrency. There are now over 20,000 cryptocurrency ATMs deployed across America. Coinstar is the popular name of the ATM. You will be directed by your scammer to a Coinstar ATM, which, for example, here in Lincoln, are frequently visited via Russ's Supermarket, and others. And you go and you swipe your debit card or your credit card, which you can cash advance on, and it will do the conversion from the US dollar denominated amount into the cryptocurrency amount to pay your fine, your fee, your administrative cost, or other. But you are compliant because your scammer is on the phone with you via your cell phone, because they know this might seem exotic to you. And they're continuing to apply that sense of urgency, that emotional manipulation, and they're leading you down the path that they want you to go down. Please take time, recognize that nothing is urgent, not at our age. There's always tomorrow. And that if you can do one thing that will help balance the intensity of the fervor within which they've come on to you to act and act now, please ask one other person what their thought or opinion is of the challenge that you are confronted with. Hey, I've just won the Publishers Clearinghouse, but I have to pay an administrative fee or taxes. What do you think? Does that sound on the up and up to you? Have you ever had to pay taxes in advance? Hey, my grandchild just contacted me and is asking for money. Have you ever been? What we have found out through a study known as Under the Radar, the Overabuse Prevalence Study, a significant study involving 4,200 surveys of seniors in a long form 20-plus minute format. We found out a number of things. First, that the incurred rate of fraud is far greater than the reported rate of fraud. But we also found out that when you tell one other person your propensity or the likelihood of you being defrauded by a fraud or scam decreases by 2/3. Now, the incurred rate of fraud and abuse in Nebraska for seniors is 36%. So we can't reduce that to 0. But if we can cut it by 2/3 from 36% to 12%, we're winning. Don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed. Ask someone for help, because you are and you will be emotionally engaged. Getting to the heart of your question, what are their tactics? It's to get us thinking on the right side of our brain, not the strong side of our brain, which is the left side, the logic portion. So involve somebody else in your decision-making process. And failing a friend, you have a friend in the Consumer Affairs Response Team at the Attorney General's office, 1-800-727-6432. We will help you through the decision-making process.
Wow, that's good information. Josh, can we talk about the trust that they try to develop in a scam? And how do they initially build that trust in just a short time so that they can target us? What are their tricks to build that trust?
Well, the data is helpful, as Ryan has shared. A lot of our information is just abundantly available online. So I know that my wife and I, we take we are as cautionary as we possibly can with our information. We don't sign up for newsletters, we don't sign up for accounts that we don't need. We try to keep everything under wraps. I also am fully aware that my information is widely available online, even with the steps that I am taking. So if someone comes to me with a phone call or an email, chances are, because a lot of these operations are sophisticated, they're coming with a degree of ammunition. Hey Josh, I saw that you and your wife just moved within the last month. I've received a text message and an email about that, and that is true. That we did move. But that information is very, very useful because, I mean, how likely are you to believe that that person has a degree of understanding of who you are? Particularly if they paint themselves as law enforcement or a bank representative. So they have both the information on you and probably a very sophisticated storyline that they're putting you through that has been refined thousands and thousands of times daily, right? So I think that in and of itself creates a lot of trust, right? If you can say, you know what I have been doing in the past month, I can tell you, even as someone who works in this space, that is very, very convincing. But a lot of the tactics truly are refined to such a degree that the minute you engage, they will continue that conversation until you have a certain amount of trust that you have afforded them. And I do believe that there is a regionality to scam prevention that is particularly concerning. In states like Nebraska, where the benefit of the doubt is so freely given, we are so willing to engage. I think it's a great quality of Nebraskans that we want to help people when the car breaks down on the side of the road, or when someone just happens to knock on your door and they need something. The reality, though, is that is an Achilles heel that allows scammers into our lives in a lot of cases. So it's not to say that we need to be hermits and we need to stop communicating with other people, but we need to be a little bit more skeptical about the communication that we receive, because a lot of times it's backed by an army of data and a lot of tactics that have been developed over many, many years.
Good. Okay, Ryan, what are some red flags that people can look out for in a phone call, email, or online transactions that may indicate that it's a scam?
I may have answered this in part in the last question, but there are 4 that come prominently to mind. First is, who's calling you? What is the role that they're playing? Scammers love to come across as authority figures. They love to come across as law enforcement or the government. So first and foremost, who's reaching out to you? Recognize that if it's one or the other just mentioned, law enforcement, or especially the government, they do not make proactive telephone calls. They notify you in writing. Number 10, business size, envelope, window-based. Expect to be notified in writing, especially regarding your Medicare or Social Security benefits. Next, listen to that storyline, which I mentioned in the previous segment in terms of too good to be true, too bad to be believed, too compelling to ignore. It's designed to churn the emotions. So, if you're hearing a story that follows one of those storylines that fills you with hope because you want to win the lottery, fear because you're concerned about not having your Social Security benefit today, because today's Wednesday and it's a payday for somebody in the Social Security world, or because you are too emotionally engaged out of fear, the compelling to ignore, the family emergency scam, that alone should be, wait, that sounds familiar. Didn't I hear that at a recent seminar that I attended? Then, when they use that sense of urgency that you have to pay and pay today, know that we're old enough that there is a tomorrow, that nothing is urgent, nothing has to be done, not now, but right now, and recognize that they're trying to one-call close you. That is their tactic, because time is money to them. They're seeking efficiency. They want to keep you in panic and fear so that you will make that payment, and then when that payment comes, remember what I had said previously, they become highly specific as to payment medium. And if they are talking about Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle, More specifically, if they're talking about cryptocurrency, and they mention Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are the two most popular forms of crypto, and they're sending you to a Coinstar app, or Coinstar ATM, you know you're being scammed. Because I do not know of a governmental agency or business, legitimate, that will accept payment in that form of payment. So watch out for the telephone calls. Increasingly watch out for the text message. We now have protections via the Traced Act to reduce the number of scam telephone calls we receive. But the scammers have compensated by moving to text messaging. So I want you to be very, very careful of any text message that you receive. How many in the past month have received a notice about a toll that you now owe? That should be a number of hands going up. I think I received that.
paid one of those.
Oh, no. Well, there's that sense of urgency, and you're thinking, well, I don't know how this could have happened, but it's a nominal fee. You'll click on a link. You might be accessing a fraudulent website. Through that fraudulent website, you're providing personal information, which can include your payment information, but that personalized nature of the text message and the seemingly simple, well, this is a toll, I must have blown through it, maybe they caught me on camera, or my eye in the sky helicopter, or what have you, it's $10, I'll just let it go and pay the $10. But once you're providing your payment information, especially on a fraudulent website, you have opened the door to broad scale identity theft. So I especially want you to be careful of fraudulent text messaging and not to click on an embedded link, not to answer Y for yes, N for no. What's going on there is the scammer is sending out via a botnet these fraudulent text messages en masse to everybody, hundreds of thousands. Well, 1/3 of all telephone numbers have not been assigned or have been recently retired. They don't know, is this a working phone number or a non-working phone number? They only know when you respond Y or N. And what happens is they follow up with a telephone call. Well, yes, Mr. Sothen, this is the Kansas Toll Booth Authority. We appreciate you responding to our text message. We just want you to know that with accrued interest, your toll today has increased from $14.85 to $16.10. So be careful. And just because it comes to your phone doesn't make it any more legitimate than if it had come to you via telephone call. So those are one of many. Again, if you are at all in doubt, the Consumer Affairs Response Team, Attorney General's Office, 1-800-727-6432, or when you call our office, ask for Ryan, but there are 3 Ryans in the Attorney General's office. So you have to ask for old, gray, bearded, and talkative. That's me.
Or just plain Ryan Sothen will work too, right? Okay, Josh, are there some certain demographics like seniors or young adults who are more suspect, yes, Ron, you get up here, to this kind of psychological tricks and why? Yep.
Can he please repeat the number slowly so we can write it down? We tried twice.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1-800-727-6432. We have a toll-free number for our Consumer Affairs Response Team that begins 1-800, and it is 727-6432. Scott Nelson will answer that, and he will encourage you to hit option 1, which takes you directly to the CART team. Otherwise, you default to our attendant, Lori. Lori is where you can say, I need gray, bald, old Ryan. But otherwise, you're with our CART team. 1-800-727-6432. Thank you.
Okay, so Ryan, who's susceptible to some of these psychological tricks? Or demographics that might be targeted? Or, I mean, Josh, I'm sorry, this is Josh's question.
I can talk forever, I can't.
Well, you'll get your turn again.
So scams don't discriminate. they will target everyone. Frankly, I feel like the story that isn't told is that those between the ages of 18 and 24 are the most likely to experience a scam and the least likely to report it. And together, those facts help nobody, right? I think from a scammer's perspective, the payout would, of course, be considerably higher with the senior population who've had their entire lives to accrue a certain amount of money. There is some technological concerns, right? If they're forcing you into a space where you need to invest in cryptocurrency or some newfound technology, that is concerning, but scams come for all of us. Last year, our bureau fielded 1,335 scam reports from Nebraska residents. So these are verified reports. This is not just, I have a complaint with a company and I put it in the wrong part of your website. Of that portion, 53 came from those between 18 and 24, so Gen Z. That's less than 5%. That's not good. Certainly they could be reporting it elsewhere. They could be bringing it to the AG's office. They could be reporting it to AARP or the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. I'd say that's unlikely. So I do think we have a reporting problem that impacts all demographics, but particularly those in the younger demo. But yeah, I think that frankly the wave of scams that we monitor impact those young and old, those underrepresented, and those who are kind of like the standard in any state. So I wouldn't say there's any one demo that is particularly affected. I would say that the payouts are considerably higher the older you go. But if you know someone between 18 and 24, you just grab them and shake them. And I think that would actually do a great deal of help, because frankly, by not reporting anything, you're not protecting anyone. And so if you leave here with anything today, I hope it's that it's really important we bring these experiences forward. It does matter. It doesn't matter if you lost any amount of money.
So don't be embarrassed, because it happens to a lot of people. A lot of very smart people get scammed.
May I
Sure.
elaborate on that?
Uh-huh.
As outreach coordinator, my responsibility is to be the traveling salesman for the Attorney General. I travel all 93 counties, 244 school districts, and it seemed to be 15 years ago that I was talking primarily in schools about the dangers of the cell phone and its impact on social development. Since that time, it has gravitated increasingly more towards a senior-oriented message, and with data of our own, and also infused further by the study that I mentioned previously, Under the Radar, the Elder Abuse Prevalence Study, a study of 4,200 seniors. What we found out is that the senior segment is the most frequently approached and violated, if you will, but the least likely to report. The incurred rate of fraud and abuse in Nebraska for a senior, which we define generously as age 60 and above, is 36%. That's up 3% from last year. But the incurred rate of fraud and abuse, the incurred rate as opposed to the reported rate, is 44 times greater. 44 times greater than the 36% which we can document. So how big of a problem do we have here in the state of Nebraska? We don't rightly know. And that is because of the fear, the embarrassment, and the other that comes from lack of reporting. Fear of just personal shame and embarrassment, but actually fear of consequence, fear of the unknown. What is going to happen? Especially, have you noticed as we've grown older that we become more accountable to our adult children? That they are saying, Mom, Dad, we need to have shared decision making. I'm going to have a power of attorney so that I can work with and help pay your bills, etc. But the real fear is from adult children or other who might want to step in and say, enough. For your own protection, I'm going to, and this is a court-ordered proceeding, take out guardianship or conservatorship. And at that point, you have lost your independence. You have become a ward of your caregiver, which again, most frequently is your adult child, but can be another decision maker. No one wants to lose that decision-making capability. I know with a fighter pilot father who I looked up to for years, but who was suffering from Alzheimer's, that as he began to be forgetful and would be out in the car and would lose his way home and began driving by sound as opposed to driving by logic and direction, I had to sit down with him and take away his car keys. That was one of the more difficult conversations I'd had with him in his life, and I thought he was gonna come out of the chair and maybe strangle me, to say, how dare you? That was child's play compared to having a conversation with one of you, with a viable, older adult that says your decision-making power, especially regarding your finances, is now owned by me, not you. And so that tends to factor into the decision-making process as fear of consequence, fear of the unknown. But I do want you to know that the incurred rate is 44 times greater than the reported rate. The reported rate is 36%. And that if you can't find face or strength enough to tell a family member, we all have a friend or someone that we trust, and it gets back to what I said earlier. Tell one other person. Bring them in on your decision-making process, and though it won't eliminate the fraud, it'll take it from 36% down 2/3 to about 12%. And that's a win.
Yes, that would be a win. And I think this is a good time to pause and take a break, and then we'll come back here in 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes. Okay, if we can have all of our educational partners in the room. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Before we get started with the second half, I do want to introduce our educational partners to you. These are some awesome people that we work with. We get the privilege to work along beside them to help serve seniors in our community, and they're all doing really great work in our community. So they're going to give you about a 30-second little spiel about who they are and what they do.
I'm Rose Lyle, and I'm with Nebraska Real Estate Specialty Group, and we specialize in the needs of 55-plus community, and we can help you downsize, we can help you with aging in place, and we can help you with any general real estate needs. So don't wait to buy or sell. If you have any questions on real estate, we'll be here to help you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Kelsey Hutchison. I'm with Oasis Senior Advisors. We help seniors and their families create a plan of care or navigating that conversation with your loved ones. At some point, your children may need to make a decision for you as to what that care looks like, and it's best to have that conversation before we are bedside. So yeah, we help you navigate anything from non-medical home care to medical home care, veterans benefits, or any of the wonderful senior living communities we have here in town. We work with a wide range of network of folks, all these folks that you see here, as well as covering the state of Nebraska. So we don't just cover Lincoln, but we work in York, North Platte, Grand Island, as far as the eye can see until you get to Colorado. So we cover here, and then we do have a team in Omaha as well. So if you have any Omaha needs, happy to connect you with those folks too. So I'm Kelsey Hutchison with Oasis Senior Advisors.
I'm AJ with Lucky Dog Property Solutions. Doesn't have anything to do with dogs, but we do small home repairs and any kind of odd jobs or anything like that that you have around the house. So anywhere from like electrical and plumbing to building, you know, that bench in a box that you just got delivered on your porch or something like that. Do a lot of like security systems and those types of things. So it's a very long list of the things that we can help you with. If you have any questions or anything, grab some material from me and shoot me a text or give me a call and we'll see what we can do to help. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rodney Heminger. This is Jose. I'm with Archwell Health. We are brand new to Lincoln. We are primary care providers for seniors that are on Medicare Advantage plans. We take United Healthcare, Aetna, and Humana. And you don't have to raise your hands, but I just have a few questions for you. Do you spend more time in the lobby with your doctor's office than in front of your doctor? Do you see a different doctor every time you go visit? Would you like to be able to get in the same day if you're not feeling well? If you answer yes to any of those questions, you need to have a conversation with me. We'd love to see it. We're at 40th and O Street. Again, been open for about a month and a half and we're growing fast. Love to have you.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Well, we're with Mr. Rodney. If you guys want to practice your Spanish skills, got you too, okay?
Hi, I'm Kim from Caring Friends. We're a non-medical home care provider that we can come into your homes, we can do some housekeeping, we can do meal preps, bathing, anything that you could possibly need, obviously, but just not medical. So come see me out there if you'd like to know a little bit more, and I'll visit with you. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Kelly Manns. I'm the Senior Living Advisor for Tabitha Health Services. Kind of like Kelsey was talking about over there with Tabitha, if you call me, I can kind of help you navigate through Tabitha's full continuum. So anywhere from our independent to assisted living, long-term care, or even if you're needing a short rehab stay. So yeah, our table is out there too. And my partner Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan. I am from that independent living community that Kelly was talking about through Tabitha. It is Sage Living, so we are a completely independent living community. We focus on loneliness and isolation in seniors, so huge community aspect, great place to meet friends and be social and have a beautiful place to live.
Hi, my name is Reagan. I'm with the Alzheimer's Association. Here in Lincoln, we provide free education, support groups, and nationwide we also have a 24/7 hotline that you can call anytime during the day if you have any questions about a loved one who has dementia. And then also, coming up next month after Savvy Seniors, we are going to have an education workshop. So you come to Savvy Seniors, stay for lunch, which we will provide, and then you get to learn a little bit more about dementia, the 10 warning signs, and new research and things like that. Please make sure that you do register so we know how many people that we will have. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick Casabal. I work for AAA. I am 100% travel agent, global travel agent. And so I'm a little bit different. I'm trying to get you out of your house and even out of the country. And actually, with the Savvy Seniors, the group we're going to focus on, I'm going to with Alicia, trying to get some group travel. And so we've been working on trying to find an itinerary for everybody and get out abroad or in the United States. But it's, as far as, you know, you guys, the thing you need to think about when you're looking at travel, if you can travel to Europe, you want to do it while you can, because it's a little bit harder than the United States. It's actually a lot more inexpensive. But in the United States, I think you can go all around, but it's great to go as far out as you can and start moving your way back. But look for Savvy Seniors doing some group tours. We're trying to put something together so everybody can jump on with it. It would be a lot of fun. There's people in here, even close to me, that have traveled through me and that, and anything you guys can dream up, hopefully I can put together for you.
I'm Val Heedham. I'm with Caring Friends and Home Care. What Kim didn't mention is we do cover over 30 counties in the state of Nebraska. We work with the VA, we work with Medicaid, long-term care insurance plans, and then private pay. My dad and mom are clients of ours, and I know today's topic is about scams, and I look out for my mom and dad as much as I can. But all of these people you're looking at here will look out for you too. We want you to be getting the care you need and not get taken advantage of. And if you're on service with any one of us, we'll help you point you in the right direction. So I'm glad you're doing this. Thank you all for putting this on, and I'll hand it back over to you.
So I just want to tell you about, in June, we have a tribute artist, John Denver tribute artist, coming here to do a concert. And so you're going to want to mark Thursday, June 26th. Guy's name is Ted Vigil. He lives in Seattle, and he's bringing his whole band, and we're going to fill our sanctuary. We can seat 2,000 people. So you're going to want to come. It's going to be free. We're trying to raise some money to help build beds for kids who don't have beds in Lincoln, called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So in June, a concert by John Denver, tribute artist. Guy looks like John Denver, he sounds like John Denver, he just isn't John Denver. Ted Vigil, you can go on his site and see it. But so if you're interested in that, we'll tell you more about it as it comes along.
So did you say that was June 26th?
June 26th.
Okay, so June, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun in June. We got the prom on June 6th, and then John Denver, June 26th.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
yes. The prom is at the Lincoln Firefighter Hall. I do want to mention, would love to have you come to next month's seminar. If you want a lunch, you have to RSVP. If we don't have your name, you can still stay, but you're going to have a cookie or something, okay? So, want the lunch, you got to RSVP. What's that? Where do you sign up at? Right out here or on our website? Or with your evaluation. So we did pass out evaluations. We ran a little bit short. So we want one evaluation per household filled out. If you already have it filled out, that's okay. But yeah, that would be great. He's going to make some copies. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, we'll make some copies to make sure everybody gets one. Those evaluations do need to be filled out completely to be eligible for one of our door prizes. Okay, so I bet you guys all have a lot of good questions that you're going to be asking in a few minutes, don't you? So we're going to get on with the second half here, and then we're going to open it up for questions, okay? All righty. Let's see. Ryan, can you share some of the most successful prevention tactics that you've seen in your outreach work across the state?
Happy to. Prevention tactics. I'm kind of a one-trick pony in this regard, but I have two tricks for you.
Can you guys hear him?
So I guess a two-trick pony. There are two things I'd like you to do. First and foremost, in terms of preventative measures, I would like the default state of everyone's credit report to be frozen. That may sound like news to you, but we all have a credit report, each individually. So married couples, you each have one. Our recommendation is that they be frozen across the board. This is easy to do. You can do so by phone. You can do so online. You can do so even by snail mail if you prefer. Information is on our website or available from each of the 3 credit reporting bureaus, but it's a directive, and it doesn't take a lawyer's involvement to invoke or affect the directive. It tells the credit reporting agency to not at any time to anyone release your credit report for any reason without your prior knowledge and consent. This is the determinative, or I believe most effective form of preventing identity theft, especially in the face of a data breach. So more information through our Identity Theft Consumer Guide, page 19, or going to the individual credit reporting bureaus themselves. Second thing, how many of you have a smartphone? Okay, savvy audience, appropriate for savvy seniors. You should know that through the TRACE Act, the Telephone Robocall Abuse Criminal Enforcement and Deterrence Act, a snappy acronym that means we're going to monitor the incoming calls to your phone and we're gonna block the unwanted calls. This is an app that you need to download from your carrier because it's a federal mandate that they must, on a carrier-specific basis, provide you an unwanted call blocking service. They're allowed to private label, brand name them. So the big carrier in Nebraska is Verizon. Theirs is called Call Filter. AT&T's is called Active Armor. The combined Sprint T-Mobile is called Scam Shield. If you're with Spectrum, as I am, theirs is called Call Guard. And there's a host of other names. Download that, make sure it's installed, and it will screen the incoming telephone calls to block the unwanted calls because the unwanted calls will not have the token, which is a digital signature that is required of every legitimate call. Missing the token, you get a warning. How many of you are seeing on your caller ID now? Suspected spam, suspected scam, fraud potential, and other. This is what the TRACE Act is designed to address and prevent. But that's not all. You also have inherent call blocking features. We call them native call blocking features on your phone itself to silence unknown callers. So this means a call that's not in your contacts or has not made contact with you recently will be blocked in the sense that your ringer will not sound. The call is still permitted to flow through to your voicemail. It will still show up in your call history, but you're not likely to be scammed if you don't engage with the caller, correct? So don't worry about missing that important call from your doctor's office because they're going to leave you a voicemail message and you can create a contact for your doctor's office or other trusted caregiver, etc. But those two things, the call blocking app from your carrier, the native call blocking on your phone, and it applies to an Android phone as easily as it does to an iPhone. And then the preventative measure of having the default state of your credit report be frozen, those will go a long way towards keeping you safe from frauds and scams. And that's strongly what I and our office recommends.
Okay, great. Josh, suppose that you're in the middle of a scam. Somebody is scamming you, like, or maybe a little bit before, during, or after. What if you've given them a little bit of information, you've interacted with them? What are some steps that you can take to protect yourself at that point?
The first step is to breathe. I think a lot of us, when we get put in the accelerator, as we call it, we have a habit of shutting down. And we make decisions that we otherwise wouldn't. So that might seem like a really small thing, but Ryan mentioned, nothing is so urgent that it needs to be handled right now. If you can take a step back, give yourself a breath, give yourself the space to do a little bit of research or to ask someone what they think about the experience you've been put in, you'll be a lot better off. And it sounds like you could really minimize the likelihood of you actually following through on experiencing the entirety of the scam. You want to cut off contact with that person, block that number, report it as spam. You want to secure your accounts. Certainly you want to report to those who are impacted. So if this impacts your Union Bank and Trust account, you should probably tell Union Bank and Trust that you experienced something. They have an entire customer service line that is just waiting to help you with something like this. You want to monitor your credit if you haven't had a chance to freeze it. You want to make sure that someone's not about to take out a line of credit against your account in your name. And I think you want to reach out to someone. You reach out to the BBB, you reach out to the Attorney General's office. There are so many avenues to go that don't involve isolating. Isolating is really what the scammer is after. They wouldn't be very good at their job if everyone was talking about what they were doing all the time, right? So don't make it easy on them. Ask questions, give yourself the space to do some research, and report to the parties that are most impacted.
And I think in Nebraska, you hear that term, Nebraska nice. We want to be nice. We know what if it is a real person. But, these scammers, they don't care about you. All they want is your money, right? So beware. Josh, I'm going to ask you one more question about that. What steps can they take to verify that if they feel like they're being scammed?
Well, certainly if it involves a business, that's why we exist at the BBB. Look them up on bbb.org. Every single business that is accredited through the Better Business Bureau has to be appropriately licensed. That might seem like a really small thing, but I promise you when you call an electrician, if you call a plumber, at bare minimum, you want to know that that person can legally provide that service. A lot of businesses are not appropriately licensed, and they will not have a name like not appropriate licensed plumber, right? So you're gonna need to do your due diligence. You're gonna need to do some research on them. That's why our website exists. So BBB, you can think about that as insurance on every single transaction. So I would encourage you to look that up. Even cursory searches like, let's say you got a phone call from a number and they've got a business that they associate with. Even just like a Google search of that plus the word scam will get you to the bottom of a lot of what is reported to us. That's why making this information public is so important. So that way, when you're at that point of no return and you do that search, you know immediately that this is not something to engage with, that this is something to walk away from. But it does sadly fall on the consumer a lot of the time to do their research, to be able to delineate what is real from what is fraudulent, and that's maybe never been more challenging than it is right now.
Good. Well, Ryan, we're going to pass the mic over to you again. How have advancements in technology like social media and AI, how has that changed the way scammers operate today?
Big question. One of the top reported scams of the past year is from individuals in our age group having their social media pages taken over, specifically Facebook. So if you have found that you cannot any longer sign on to your Facebook account, I'm sorry, it is a struggle, even working with Facebook or Meta at our level, to get your account restored. So if you have not had your account taken over, the first thing I want you to do, technologically speaking, is to enable multi-factor authentication, also known as 2FA, second factor authentication. If you do not know how, when you're home, on your favorite search engine, just put in enable Facebook 2FA, second factor authentication. It takes you to the help center on the Facebook page and gives you step-by-step how you authorize a second password on your account. It will be either a security question that you pick from a stable of standard security questions, but your answer is personalized, or they can send you a 6-digit authorization code that you then input back in. So that will help you in terms of social media account takeover. Then when it comes to technology, AI is still in its infancy, and it has demonstrated the potential to do significant damage. One of the areas that it does great damage, since we are Nebraska Nice, and because we get emotionally engaged, and because we care, is that it can take a voice print in a matter of words. So that if you are subject to the family emergency scam, and you're hearing a voice that sounds exactly like your grandchild, don't fall for it at face value or ear value alone. Before you act, make sure that you reach out to your grandchild directly by phone or by text, and they're more likely to respond to a text, or to your child, who would be your grandchild's parent or in-law, to make sure that Junior or Princess is safe. Don't take it on auditory value alone, because AI is prevalent. Then in terms of the scams themselves, AI can take a massive database breach, such as the Change Healthcare, 190 million, and it can use AI to score that database immediately for the best potential accounts to be defrauded. Who has the most money? Who has the highest availability of, let's say, charge account to utilization rate, etc. So we have to watch out for that as well. So we have to use technology, and it's not really technology, but the freeze that I spoke of is an effective means for blocking that type of affront. So I know that it's terribly easy to believe what you see. This is why, to Josh's point, our youth are the most likely to be defrauded, because if they see it on the internet or it's on their phone, it's gotta be true. And they're defrauded at close to a 50% rate. They only lose around $150, whereas we might be at 36%, but we lose on average about $1,700. So recognize that as the technology is being deployed, don't interact immediately, don't click on an embedded link, don't make a telephone call, separate yourself from the event, query online, ask another party, contact your grandchild, and those measures, all of which, and I've got plenty of copies in the car, I'll bring them in our Recognize and Report Scams book and in our Identity Theft Consumer Guide. Follow those tactics and we'll keep you safe. But AI is an emerging threat that we don't fully know the extent to which it will reach. But we are mindful, and we are routinely publishing consumer alerts to keep you informed of the latest threats.
Good. Well, and Josh, I'm gonna have you ask the next question. Although Ryan touched on it and said it had a lot of really good things, but are there any particular online platforms or apps that we can use to counteract what some of these scammers are doing, and use that technology to actually safeguard us rather than make us a victim of scams?
So, I mean, if that tactic has been reported in the past, that is extremely valuable. If I know that, let's say that for a while it was the Crown Prince of Nigeria was sending us all emails. If I was able to input that in Google, Crown Prince of Nigeria scam, and get immediately to the bottom of it, that's a really effective way to avoid that scam. We also have a lot of actual resources where more new age scams have been reported. BBB Scam Tracker is one of them. This is a free publicly available tool. It's bbb.org/scam tracker. The FTC has reportfraud.ftc.gov. There are any number of avenues where you can see what has actually been reported specifically in your community, which can be extremely helpful as you navigate an avalanche. I regularly refer to this as an avalanche of communication that we all experience day in and day out. And some of these resources have things like scam prevention guides, and an ability to see if something like what you have experienced or are experiencing in the moment has been reported before.
Okay, great. Ryan, can you provide an example of a local scam that you've helped shut down and the steps that were involved in exposing and prosecuting those perpetrators? Do they ever get prosecuted? Do you find them? Do you hunt them down?
Excellent question. Especially as the Chief Law Enforcement Office of this state through the Attorney General, you would expect that our curative measures, the ability to identify, arrest, prosecute, basic enforcement actions
Can't hear you back in there.
would be paramount in our overall efforts. I'm here to say that the majority of the perpetrators of the frauds and scams that we are subject to are jurisdictional issues for the AG. They are outside of the state of Nebraska. They are outside of the United States. They are calling from across oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, many times from third world countries, using the internet as their communications backbone because that's a free medium for calling anymore. So the TRACED Act is now significant in terms of its ability to identify a fraudulent internet-based call. So that's one aspect of technology working to our favor. But the question got to local incidences of fraud and scam detection. Our CART team is deployed at 1-800-727-6432 to especially help you address those issues or concerns. But I want to get across, especially to this audience, that the scam that is being elevated to my attention the most often are romance scams.
Repeat that.
Romance scams. And these romance scams tend to evolve into investment scams. And they have a gender bias. So ladies, if you are single by choice or by circumstance, you are likely to fall prey to someone who swipes right on your profile, and understand that there is no stigma anymore to having an online dating profile. And there are demographic sites dedicated to us that you might be pessimistic that you're going to hear from anybody between now and 4th of July, and you are delighted when somebody swipes right that day or DM direct messages you within the day or certainly by the weekend, and they come on hard, fast, enthusiastic, and with a great deal of flattery. They are extremely successful. They are lonely in their business pursuits and in their social pursuits. That's why they're using the platform, and they have swiped right on you because you sound perfect. And as they're flattering you, you're building towards a meeting, and before that meeting occurs, and you've told everybody by now, they're going to reach out to you with a hard luck story. Be prepared within that hard luck story for a money ask, because romance scams and money asks are joined at the hip. And they will ask for money, or you'll want to volunteer the money so that you can meet for this romantic weekend that you have planned. The losses there used to be hundreds to, $2,500, $5,000. Now they're 10, 20, 30, 40, fairly routine. Gentlemen, we are suckers. We believe that the person who has reached out to us through a accidental text message or through a accidental friend request or message on social media or through swiping right on a dating profile, that this 30-something is truly looking after and hoping to find a 60-something or older that they will come and move to Nebraska and look after. Know that their technique is well honored and practiced to develop a relationship over time, because they are paid to develop the relationship through a technique known, unfortunately, as pig slaughtering. It is the idea that you are the pig or the hog who is being fattened for the slaughter. And what is happening is that they are staying in routine communication with us, and they are building our energy and our enthusiasm and overcoming our disbelief. Wow, how does the 30-something find me attractive? But they are themselves highly successful, or at least that's how they present themselves. They send you pictures and affirmations, short videos to show the affluent lifestyle that they're leading. And when you question, as any of us would question, well, how did you get to be at so young of age so successful in your business life, personal life, investment life? Well, I've got this great investment advisor, and I'd be happy to connect you. And we can lead a life of luxury together. And what they do is they introduce you to exotic forms of investment, which are typically based in crypto. And so I dealt with a highly successful, highly educated, multiple degreed individual who contacted our office because he wanted to submit a complaint against his bank. He had asked his bank for $200,000 and they wouldn't give it to him. And it was elevated to my attention because the CART person said, this sounds like a romance scam. And what had happened is that this individual, over time, about a year in process, had invested $500,000 in drips and drabs in cryptocurrency using the aforementioned Coin Star ATMs, which are available widely across Nebraska and especially here in Lincoln, on paper had shown great investment return. So a $10,000 investment became a $20,000 investment, became a six-figure investment, and it led up to $500,000. And on paper, he was rich. And so the most recent askers were $200,000. The bank said no. He called to complain, got me, and I said, sir, you're being had. And this is what slayed me. Ryan, I'm too smart to fall for that. There's the willing suspension of disbelief. We want it to be true. This individual was about 78 years old. This gal had her own, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a social media page, but it was one that we all access.
Twitter.
Not on Twitter, not on Facebook. It's the
Instagram?
It's one of the others that will come to me. But anyway, he believed it was true. He had on paper an investment return, but I challenged him. Can you withdraw that cash? Can you move it from your Coinbase account into your bank account? What had happened is that they were managing all of his investments. He did not have his own user ID or password to his Coinbase account. He was believing as gospel because he wanted it to be true. One thing led to another. I finally said, if you don't believe me, I'm going to bring in a subject matter expert, if you please. I contacted an expert witness from the FBI. We were able to trace from the public log the investment. And unfortunately, in most of these investment scams, which start as romance scams, the money was being offshored and ultimately finding its way into Asia, specifically into Thailand, and that his perpetrator was as much a victim as this very successful gentleman was, because they were basically a victim of human trafficking. And they were in a warehouse, a call center, if you will, and they were able to deflect calls that had objections or where they needed to talk to an investment advisor or other to just keep the charade going. What happened is that we were able to save the $200,000. He didn't make the investment. But the ability to save or recover the $500,000, we could not, because too much time had passed, too much, what's the saying, water under the bridge or over the dam. But at least we saved the $200,000. But remember this, Ryan, I'm too smart for that. Don't fall victim because of the willing suspension of disbelief. That's one of the most successful current tactics deployed. It's why PCH, Publishers Clearinghouse, works so well, because you want it to be true. You might not have been the savvy investor or saver, and you'd like to leave your kids an inheritance. You want it to be true, so you play into their schemes. Isolation and loneliness is key into exploitation of a vulnerable senior. You want it to be true because you want that romance, and you're making money. My goodness, what's more catnip than romance and money? So reach out, take time, ask others, don't act immediately, but saving that $200,000 has been very, very germane of late, and the romance scams are exploding. The FTC stands in strong testament to this. So I talked about scams that don't frequently get reported. If you, on the down low, are involved with someone that you've never met, and you have questions as to the authenticity of the relationship, here's my personal office phone number, 402-471-3878. 402-471-3878. I want you to mention Savvy Seniors, say no more. Our conversation is confidential, but I've got the resources, the know-how, that we will get this stopped, and we will do our best to recover your money. But I need notice that day, especially if you've sent the money, but my objective will be to discourage you from sending the money whatsoever. The romance scams, watch out.
Okay, so report it as soon as you can. Josh, how about you? Can you share any memorable cases that across the Better Business Bureau that might highlight the impact of some of these scams?
Yeah, so the other day, this would have been within the last 3 weeks, we heard from somebody who got scammed trying to sign up for TSA PreCheck, someone who got scammed trying to invest in a new form of crypto, and someone who got scammed trying to buy flip-flops. And I think that really covers about the spectrum of what it is that we see, right? It can happen anywhere, at any time, through any means. And as Ryan said, it's very, very challenging to get that money back if you haven't used something like a credit card that has built-in fraud protection services. You can dispute those charges. Having worked with the FBI regularly for years now, I can tell you that cryptocurrency, even with the FBI's skills and ability and know-how and oversight, very, very challenging to get any of that money back once it's been sent to someone, particularly if it involves a different jurisdiction, a different country, a different continent. But I do want to underline that people are brought to justice. It can very easily feel like when we turn on the news and we see somebody lost $200,000, that no one has ever caught a criminal in the act. But that is not the case. FBI Omaha brought somebody back, I believe within the last 30 days, who had impacted and targeted Nebraska residents. Now, this happened a few years ago. It took some time. That person was brought to justice. So I know that the headlines read a certain way, and it is admittedly very, very challenging to get these people, particularly if they're not your next door neighbor, or if they're someone who doesn't live in Nebraska. But these people are caught. And I think that there is some optimism in that is sadly lost with how we digest local and national media these days.
True, and now we're all savvy to these guys, and we can be the vigilantes from Nebraska. Yeah, we're gonna get him. So, any final advice that either one of you would like to share with our attendees here today to help scam-proof themselves in the upcoming months?
I'll just go first because I have the mic. Speak up, speak loudly, don't suffer alone. The worst thing you can ever do is bottle the experience and feel like it doesn't matter. If I'm encouraged by something, it's that, okay, this year, the number of Nebraska scam reports to BBB Scam Tracker has increased. You could see that as a problem. I see it as a glowing sign that the educational outreach is working, because the actual percentage of people who lost money and reported their scam is going down. So people are coming forward with their experience when they do see something. They are actually saying something, even if they didn't lose $200,000, even if they didn't lose $5.99 buying some flip-flops. They are coming forward with that experience, and that is a protective veil for all of us. So please speak up if you do experience something. It's too easy to say the next person will get it. The next person might not be so lucky. The next person might be dependent upon you reporting your experience to be able to avoid that scam entirely. So please report it. There are so many avenues to report. And it's really important. Scam Tracker takes less than 2.5 minutes. I spend more than 2.5 minutes every day playing Wordle. So I have 2.5 minutes. I hope you do too.
I will certainly echo that. Report, report, report. Your available reporting avenues include Adult Protective Services, which is entirely anonymous. You can contact your area agency on aging, which in this Lincoln, Lancaster area is called Aging Partners. You can certainly contact the Better Business Bureau. You can contact the Attorney General through its Consumer Affairs Response Team. So don't be one of the 36% that is actually 44 times greater that doesn't report because of fear of consequence. We want and need to hear from you. Earlier, I had mentioned that data breaches, we live in the era of the data breach. That though imposter scams still are number one, identity theft is a significant number two, both nationally and locally. So what do you do if you receive one of these data breach notification letters from Change Healthcare, or years ago, Target, or perhaps the company that is behind TJ Maxx, or Home Depot, or others? They're all being targeted because they're treasure troves of information. First and foremost, order your credit report. It's available from one source for free. It's 3 words spelled as one, annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. That is a site managed by the 3 credit reporting bureaus, so Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, who give you access free once per week to your credit report. I want you to check that credit report and go to the section that is either labeled hard inquiries or recent inquiries, and make sure that there have been no recent inquiries for credit in your name. I say that because if a scammer comes into possession of your personal identifying information, your social, your date of birth, and other, more often than not, within 48 to 72 hours, they're lighting you up through your credit report by attempting to order new lines of credit, especially in terms of credit cards. They are all logged to your credit report. So I want you to check your credit report first and foremost. Hopefully you'll find none, because we're older, we're more strategic users of credit, not tactical. So it's rare that we're opening new lines of credit. So if you find none, even after the notification of a data breach, protect yourself by freezing your account. You freeze your account, this directive that prevents the disclosure of your credit report, through a 5 to 10 minute process online or by phone, which you can access through the individual credit reporting agencies or through the annualcreditreport.com website that I just gave you moments ago. Once the credit report is frozen, after you've inquired of the report itself, the next thing that you need to do is change your passwords. Hopefully you don't have that one password that is your grandchild's name or Husker and the year of your birth. Hopefully you have multiple passwords and you're going, oh God, I can't change passwords. I've got too many password protected accounts. They need to be changed. And here's a tool that will make the process of coming up with a new password child's play. It's fun. It is passwordmonster.com. Like Cookie Monster, those of you who are familiar with Sesame Street, babysitting your grandkids, whatnot, passwordmonster.com. It's the same blue-purple as the Cookie Monster. You can input your password, and it will tell you by stoplight color, red, yellow, green, green meaning go, stop meaning red meaning stop, try again. And it will give you in time, days, week, months, centuries, what it would take a brute force attack to crack your password. My challenge to you is that within 3 to no more than 4 attempts, you can come up with a password that would take a century to crack under a brute force attack. Passwordmonster.com. Try me. So you have ordered your credit report, frozen your credit, changed your passwords. The next step, and I mentioned this earlier, enable multi-factor authentication or 2-factor authentication across your accounts. I do not know of a financially related account, including my SSA.gov account, so my Social Security Administration account, where I'm not being asked for a second-factor authenticator. Most of the time, if I haven't enabled Face ID, which is what I've done through my phone on my bank accounts, I have them send me a 6-digit passcode that I input, because that passcode is operative for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then it lapses and a new code has to be issued. But this allows you the safety and security that if somebody is in possession of your personal information, including your primary password, your name and your year of birth, or Husker in your name of birth, that second factor can't be broached. So, enable second factor authentication. Having done that, I want you to monitor your statements routinely for accuracy, because something may show up that you weren't able to catch, and you can dispute that directly. Shred the old statement when the new statement arrives. You're thinking, oh, but I have to keep things for 7 years. No, you don't. Everything is digital now, including your tax returns. I still advocate at least 3 years of tax returns, because that's the look-back period for an audit. You can always check in terms of document retention records through ARMA, the American Records Management Association, how long you should keep things. But bank statements, credit card statements, no. Get rid of the old when the new arrives, because everything else is digitally kept. But in getting rid of, have a on-site shredder that you purchased from the Costco or the Target or the Walmart or what have you. The type of shredder that is available now, the micro-cut shredder, used to be expensive. It makes the little tiny pieces of confetti that stick to your hand and face and whatnot. They're under $100 now. And that will make sure that no one can reconstitute your statement and will keep you safe. And then finally, if ever a question of doubt, ask. Ask Josh and ask the Better Business Bureau. Go to our website, protectthegoodlife.nebraska.gov, but call. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We have voicemail for weekend answer, and we will get back to you next business day, 1-800-727-6432. Failing that, ask for old, gray, bearded, talkative Ryan, and I will help you. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Great,
Thank you.
Okay, so we went over just a little bit, but we want to have questions. So if anybody has questions, Rose's gonna come around with the microphone, and please ask your question into the microphone like this so that everybody can hear you, and then Josh or Ryan will answer.
I didn't hear you talk about automobile scams. I was nearly scammed on Facebook Marketplace on automobile. I wasn't, fortunately, because I decided to check Google to see if there was anything like that, any indication of scams, and found out there were, so I didn't fall for that trick. But that seems to be a pretty good one on Facebook.
Yeah, it used to be the case you could buy a vehicle if you went to the dealership, and no other way, well, unless your neighbor was selling you. I would never purchase a vehicle on Facebook Marketplace. I know some people have had fantastic experiences doing that, but we call them virtual vehicle scams. We have seen a pretty considerable uptick in those over the past few years, with the influx of things like Carvana and some of those other options where you no longer need to go anywhere to purchase the vehicle. You just really have no guarantee that that person actually does have that vehicle available for sale. In the same way we would caution you to, if you were trying to purchase a puppy, you want to make sure you see that puppy before you pay for that puppy, just like a vehicle. I'm glad you didn't fall for this scam.
Next question.
I came close to falling for a computer scam. It was a couple years ago that I all of a sudden on my computer got this big red sign, your computer's been hacked or whatever, and I ended up calling. I did not end up sending money, but did have to go through Allo and get some things reset so that I was protected from possible damage or whatever. But anyway, I was told, and so this is just an alert because we didn't talk about that sort of thing. What I should have done was to have turned my computer off rather than falling for that and calling. I'd like that enable address again that you gave, Ryan, on Facebook. Yeah. Enable, you said?
That's secondary. For multi-factor authentication, how
Yeah.
to enable
Yes.
a 2FA or second factor authenticator.
Right.
If you just go to your favorite search engine, whether it's Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, or other, and type in the words enable 2FA Facebook, or enable MFA Facebook. It will take you to a search engine result that is the help center of Facebook. You should be able to search within the Facebook site and find it that way, but the help center is their means for giving you direction, because you'll never be able to talk to someone on it. We even have at an elevated level an alleged AG-only access, and we can't even get responses from Meta. And so it's frustrating. It definitely is.
What's the website again?
Let's get a microphone to you before you ask a question.
He wanted to know.
Microphone.
You just Google search 2FA Facebook. It would probably be the first search result. What do we think Meta's primary mode of revenue is? Advertising. So their resources go to advertisers. They don't go to consumers. So that would explain why it will take a lifetime to hear back from them for any number of issues.
One other thing I wanted to mention, this morning on Point, an NPR feature weekly at 9 o'clock in the morning, they were talking about a woman, she's now 80, she was 79 when this happened. She was actually scammed out of about $600,000 of her life earnings. And there were, I think you can find that as you can find that, and one of the things that was encouraging at the end was that she had recognized that the people calling her, claiming to be from the police department and then the FBI, and they were actually using a person who was with the FBI. They had his information, she found calls, but she recognized an Indian accent. We've gotten more comfortable with that, and the Indian government was not very interested in following up with us at the time. They have become more interested because they don't want us not just turning off anybody with an Indian accent. So they are improving their work to push, to crack down on that. And they were also talking about how it is young people who get approached more often, and they are very unlikely to report. So just some other information, but On Point is an excellent resource.
They also said, even though you feel embarrassed or stupid, it's not your fault.
Right.
Because you're being manipulated. And you don't want to say anything.
You mentioned that they use an actual FBI agent's name.
Yes.
That is very, very common with things like sweepstakes scams. We were talking about Publishers Clearinghouse. We hear from a lot of people who think they won the lottery, and they are communicated with by someone who actually did win the lottery, or someone trying to be, impersonating someone who did, because they know if I'm on the fence about something and I look up Josh Planos lottery winner and I see a search result from 3 years ago, well, maybe that's just what's going to tip me over the edge, and I would love to have a portion of Josh's winnings.
Right.
The reality is, again, if you can slow yourself down and think through when you have to enter into a lottery to be eligible to win. Two, I'm a very considerate person, but I don't think I'm going to provide my lottery winnings to everybody else just for fun. So again, slowing things down and really thinking through how realistic is this scenario that's being painted for me.
And this woman was smart. She tried to follow up and find out. She called the number. They answered as FBI. She asked about this person. And one of the things that she didn't recognize, because being elderly, she wasn't familiar with how you look at stuff in the emails. So she saw that this came from an @USA.com, which didn't alert her. Because she said, how would I know?
You bring up a lot of information. This is why we have a class that I teach through OLLI, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, called Crossing the Digital Divide, a guide for seniors. We're teaching it again for the fall semester. You might want to, any of you, sign up for that through the OLLI website. But you made a number of points. First and foremost, the tech support scam, the pop-up window. You have the right remedy in turning off the machine and then rebooting off and on, because that will typically clear that as long as it hasn't inserted itself into your startup menu or rooted into your operating system. The remedy that we recommend is to keep a clean machine. Keep a clean machine. That means make sure that your computer is always running the most current operating system offered by Microsoft or by Apple via Mac. It's a setting that can be automated. You go through your control panel to security and maintenance and you turn it on. You don't have to remember that because you have a tech-savvy son, daughter, or grandchild that can help you, and it will take less than a minute. You can even make sure that it runs at night for the update so it doesn't slow you down while you're on the computer. Let's see, I'm trying to think, you gave so much information.
Well, even how to look at the address, the full
Okay,
address.
thank you. The domain name. When you have an email address, everything to the left of the @ sign is by your choosing, because that's your username. I'm typically Ryan.Sothen or R.Sothen. But everything, I hope I said that correctly, to the left of the @ sign, to the left of the @ sign is your username or ID. To the right is the domain. That is the post office. That is where your email account is being mailed from. Most of the time, let's say for a fraudulent bank notice, for example, I bank at Wells Fargo, it's going to be a notice from wellsfargo.com. But I've had fraudulent bank notices that on the right side of the @ sign are gobbledygook alphabet soup. And because domain names should be short, sweet, crisp, concise, to the point. They are who they say they are. When you get one of these lengthy domain names, do not trust it. Lately, I've had a number of scam attempts with a domain name ending in .de. That's Deutschland. That is German. It is no one here locally that means you anything good. So, identify those as possible spam or scam to your email provider, but do check the domain name to the right of the @ sign. That's a very
And
good
how
rule of thumb.
how to see that.
Yes.
Because I had a friend, wanting to send, an older friend, wanting to send an email to one person on a long list of people who are in a Zoom weekly. And I said, to click on that address. She did not know that she could get the whole list of all the emails that it was going to.
I think we're gonna bring this person up on the dais next time.
One more question.
You're very
I'm
good.
really sure.
You're very good.
Is it reasonable at all to combat AI from relative or anything, to have a code word that they automatically know, that you could ask the AI, for this code word? Would that help?
For the family emergency scam,
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend that you have a code word. Whether it's your favorite TV show or something that only a family member would know, but to absolutely have, that's a good and strong recommendation, yes.
Okay. We're running way behind here, it's almost 12, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. We want to,
Somebody talks a lot.
yeah, I know, great information. We'll go ahead and ask the educational partners to come in, and then we'll pick up all those evaluations. So maybe Rodney can help pick up the evaluations. And Rose, you want to tell the educational partners to come in and show us what they have for our door prizes today? So where to find us? We're all over the place. We're on Facebook. We have a website, NESavvySeniors.com. We have a flyer back there that tells you how to stay in touch with us. And, reach out for help. We'll put some of this information out on our website too. If you're interested in downsizing, we have a downsizing club that can help you handle some of that. And if you have a great story, and some of you have stories, You might not think you have an interesting story, but we actually have a podcast for seniors to help you leave your legacy, and you can leave a story behind it. So, we have some goodies here, and I'm gonna pass this down, and you can say who you're with and what you got.
Archwell, and we got a little bit of everything. Gardening and, yeah, start a bit at $25.
So I am actually, this is from the Alzheimer's Association. Reagan had to leave early, so this is her little goodie basket. It looks like some lotion, body wash, candle, bath salts.
From Tabitha, this is a reusable grocery bag and then a stationery kit, some pens and a little set.
I'm Patrick with AAA and the Travel, and this is all non-edible stuff. This is, no Easter, you got it. So there is a bunch of travel, like little backpacks and document holders, and actually even from my last trip when I was on the waterways, this is from their gift shop. It's one of the scarves for ladies in that came through there. So this is kind of a good one.
Kim with Caring Friends, and I just have an Easter basket here, so you see the carrots, all right.
I'm Kelsey with Oasis Senior Advisors, and I too am following trend with the Easter basket. We have a little egg wreath here, some jelly beans, and a fun little mug.
Same with me, it was easy theme that I didn't have to think of too hard, but I've got a little decoration, kind of a hanging thing. It says, grow positive thoughts, which is always important. A couple packets of zinnias and some chocolate.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna let you guys make friends today. Please pull one of these evaluations out, read the name. Go ahead.
Gloria? Is there a Gloria here?
Gloria?
Gloria Herbeck?
My name is never ever called.
So you can take whatever one you want, first come, first served.
My goodness, I've got a date of birth, a social security number, and a bank account. Just kidding. I am pleased to announce Joanne Kathman.
Are you still here?
Kay Dungan.
Okay, are you here?
I am pleased to announce Margaret Foster. Margaret Foster. Ciao.
Margaret, are you still here?
She's over there.
John and Diane Belshner, so I guess this is a twofer. We got two
John and
names.
Diane, John and Diane, are you here?
All right, now we've got Steve M, it looks like Miles or Milo. He's gone. Ryan Sothen. Oh! I'll pick someone. All right, we quickly course corrected to another gentleman, Hubert Olson. Hubert
Here,
Olson.
Hubert? Okay.
Phyllis Hono? We have a Phyllis Hono?
Phyllis, are you here?
That's already up.
That's it?
Yep.
Is that it?
Okay. All right. And who brought a guest here for the first time?
Bring each other.